And this is my under $20 bike storage solution that is super simple to do, and pretty much anybody can do it with just some basic tools and some basic materials. Let's get into it. So what's cool is the fact that, like I mentioned before, you only need some simple materials and some simple tools. So you literally just need a single piece of 2x4, and that's only gonna cost you about $3 to $4. Next up, you're gonna need these hooks, and these hooks are only $3.78 each. And that's kind of a steal, to be honest with you, considering how much some of these bicycle specific mounting solutions cost. $3.78 ain't bad. Now, what's cool about these is that they are large enough to fit a 2.8 tire. And they do actually have a rubber coating around it to help protect any damage against the rim. As you can see on some of mine, that coating has actually broken, so that is something to keep in mind. You can easily fix this by adding some electrical tape or even some gaff tape around it to kind of soften that back up a bit. Now, depending on how much space you have, you might actually want to cut this 8-foot 2x4 down. So the piece I have behind me is actually cut down from 8 feet to about 6 or 7 feet. Now, I actually cut it down a little bit because I had to get between these two spaces right here. Now, something to keep in mind is the more bikes you have, the more space you're gonna need. So if you have 6 bikes like I do, it is actually a really tight fit. And I do have some smaller bikes on here, so that does account for me being able to fit 6 in such a small area. Now, one thing you can do, and I actually picked this up from the Crafted Workshop, is you can actually do 2 layers of 2x4 to alternate the height on each bike. So that way you can actually kind of get them out a little bit easier than this right here. Now, I won't lie, this is tight and it is a little hard to get them out sometimes. So I will actually have to swing a bike over to get one out. It's not a big deal, and honestly, I'd rather save the space. So now that your 2x4 is ready to go ahead and find out where you're gonna put it. And the most important thing here is to find the studs into the walls. Now, finding the studs and making sure that you attach the 2x4 to them is going to ensure that it does not fall down. Personally, I used 2 screws in each stud for this 2x4. Now that we have our 2x4 hung up on the wall, we're gonna wanna kind of figure out where we want the bikes to go. And this is actually gonna be really important. So you're gonna need to space out the bikes to leave enough room to get them up and down. As you can see here, I've actually hung my bikes vertical and I also hung some of them upside down. And that's really to kind of help get them to fit in a little bit better because the handlebars would clash and hit each other otherwise. So now that we're ready to start getting the hooks into the 2x4, you are gonna wanna pre-drill the holes. Because these hooks do have a screw on the end, pre-drilling that is going to make your life a lot easier. Now, I can't really recommend what size drill bit to go with to kind of pre-drill these. You're gonna have to look and see what would suit best for the bicycle hooks that you have. So now that they're pre-drilled, you can just start putting your hooks in. And it's actually fairly easy to do. It is a little bit tight if you used a smaller drill bit. I think keeping the drill bit a little bit smaller for the hole versus what the actual size of the bicycle hook is going to be a good idea. Now, what that's gonna do is it's actually gonna kind of secure it up a little bit better in my opinion, so that way you don't get any wobble in the hook itself. I would actually like to upgrade this system in the future to be a little bit bigger and also switch over to something like the Steady Rack system or even like the Feedback Sports system. Personally, I might go with the Feedback Sports system just because it's quite a bit less expensive than the Steady Rack one. But I do like the idea of just being able to roll a bike up and hook it on very easily. Speaking of something that wasn't easy, subscribe so you can see what this is for. This has revolutionized how I hold my bike stuff. So there you have it, a super simple bike storage solution for any garage. Whether you have a large garage or a small garage, this will work. And for under $20 for 6 bikes, I think that's a really good value.